Hi, good afternoon. I'm Anne and I'm presenting the Operations and Engineering Update along with Mo. I will be covering network availability, operational issues, service delivery, and Mo will be covering our engineering projects, including LINX Manchester, LINX112 EVPN migration, LINX Nova, Iron Mountain, QTS, and root server large communities. Our network availability has been high across all of the LANs over the last few months. LINX Nova was slightly lower in January due to the maintenance work to bring the new Iron Mountain site live, which Mo will talk about. And I'll cover LUN1 in more detail on the next slide. As illustrated on our network availability graph, that it's been 5 nines for the last few months. The graph of the past year does illustrate the drop back in August when the Equinix LE8 power outage brought the core site down for hours, which Richard talked about in great detail at LINX Live last year. There have been a few operational issues over the past few months. To mention a few concerning the root servers, on 4th of December, BGP sessions dropped for 3 secondary root servers, RS3 LUN1, RS4 LUN2, and RS2 Manchester. A few hours after an unsuccessful collector and root server maintenance of IX API compatibility patches was rolled back, the incorrect configuration was automatically deployed to the 3 root servers. The issue was fixed when the automated root server configuration was corrected and deployed. 2 other issues were caused by hardware. On 10th of January, member BGP sessions to LUN2 RS4 went down due to an issue on the NIC card, which caused it to be rebooted. When it didn't come back up, our vendor replaced the card, restoring the connections. And the last issue was with Nova RS1. The control board failure, which happened during a power supply swap, triggered one of the line cards to reboot. And unfortunately, that line card had the root server connection connected to it, and as such, caused the root server to lose its connection to the peering LAN. Just a little quick thing about service delivery. There's been continual growth in the 100 gig orders with 271 100 gig ports as of a little earlier today, so 1 more from when Curtis presented. That's up from 187 from the last time I presented at the end of 2019, which just shows how the year goes with COVID and 220. I didn't present at all. And there's 10 in provisioning. Manchester has also grown since the last time I presented, from 9 at that time to 17 100 gig live with 2 in provisioning. This graph shows the growth since January 2019. It's pretty steady. In addition to this, demand has been high for colo and PI bundles, keeping our NOC and supporting engineers very busy. Next, I'll hand the remote over to Mo to discuss our projects.
Mo, I'll be presenting the engineering projects that we've been working on for the last few months. I'll begin with doing what we're working on with LINX Manchester, what we're doing with the EVPN migration of LINX LUN1, what's happening at LINX Nova in the States, and what we've done with the root servers with regards to large communities. So I think it's Manchester. We're in the process of doing a vendor change from Extreme Networks to Edge Core IP Infusion, just like we did with the LUN2 network a few years ago. So we'll be moving from a simple layer 2 with EAPS redundancy ring protocol setup, and we'll be running EVPN and VXLAN. The benefits that we're seeing from this with the same as LUN2 is that there'll be a reduction in flooded traffic with proxy RPN, proxy ND enabled. And there'll be hopefully a significant amount of the effects of any loops that are caused on the network. Along with that, we'll be enabling the network to be part of our NCO automation platform. So there'll be no more manual changes for provisioning and any support requests like MAC changes. Everything will be done via automation. As well as the vendor change in LINX Manchester, we'll be replacing the core ISLs with with an upgraded capacity from 200 gig to 400 gig, and we're replacing the hardware itself, where we're taking out the passive muxes and preamps, and we replacing them with smart optics, smart mux solution, which we currently use in some parts of LUN 1 and LUN 2, which have proved very successful. Oops. With the new topology, the outcome list of the teledata will become a full site and will be 100 gig capable, so we will be able to provide members with 100 gig connections from that site. Currently, we've installed all the edge core switches, all the edge core edge routers into our racks with the new Smart Mux DWM transport. Last week, we conducted a maintenance to migrate all the extreme core switches to the same DWM transport system, and currently both networks now share the same transport system. And this week we should enable an NNI, which will allow the two networks to connect together. So as we migrate member connections across, members can still pair with members that haven't yet migrated across. Members should see announcements of these migrations shortly in the coming weeks. So here's a network diagram of the parallel build we have currently set up. In the top corner, we have the NNI, which is going to be in Williams House in Manchester, between Edge 8 TCW and Core 1 TCW. Once that comes live, as I mentioned before, teledata will become a full site, and then we'll start migrating all the member connections over to all edges connected to core devices in LINX Manchester for Edge Core. Once that's done, then we'll have this new topology for LINX Manchester. It's just similar to that of LUN 2, but a very small scale. Coming down to London, we're in the process of working on moving the LUN 1 LAN to EVPN from VPNS. Last October, a couple of our engineers worked with Juniper on a POC to test some EVPN software. Some bugs were identified, and these were tested again, and some more bugs were identified, and these were fixed. And Junos later released Junos 18.4R2S6, which we have now rolled out across the LUN 1 LAN, and we have only last week enabled 2 nodes to be EVPN enabled. These are Edge 1 TCA in Equinix Powergate and Edge 4 EQ4 in LD6 Slough in Equinix. Each part of the migration to enable EVPN is to set each of the Juniper nodes in the LAN to a super provider edge state. This allows for basically enable EVPN router to speak to a non-enabled EVPN router still using VPLS. So we're doing this in phases just to make sure that we can easily spot any anomalies or issues. It's easier to back out from a few nodes rather than the whole network, and rather doing it in one big go. Once that's done, well, we should hopefully get this work completed by February, Marchish, end February, early March this year. Once that's done, we'll then remove the VPLS configs from all the nodes, downgrade each of the Juniper nodes from the super PE states, and we should hopefully, just like LUN 2 and LINX Manchester, see a reduction of flooded traffic across the exchange with proxy up and proxy ND enabled by default. For LINX Nova, we no longer have a presence in Evo Switch and Massis. We vacated that site now, and we've replaced it with a new site at Iron Mountain in Manassas. In the later part of 2020, we shipped off new kit to Iron Mountain, which was deployed and racked and stacked basically by a third-party company that we use for remote hands, generally for Nova. The site went live early this year. There was no issues during the migration, and all member ports were migrated successfully as well. We took the opportunity as well to upgrade each of the ISLs between the 3 nodes in the ring, so from 4x10 to 16x10 gig. Along with the new site at Iron Mountain, we are in the process of deploying a 4th site at QTS and Ashburn. We're expecting the work for this to be completed by the end of Q1 this year, and currently the kit from Evo Switch has been migrated to QTS. Once that's done, the new edge router for QTS should sit between Iron Mountain and Digital Realty, what's known as DFT, in a 4-node ring. On top of all that work going on over, we're in the process of replacing all our RE2000 routing engine cards and our MX960s. These have become end of support along with the software they're currently running, and we're replacing these with RE1800s, and we're using GNOS 18.2 R3 as an upgrade on them. Iron Mountain and QTS will not have these upgrades as Iron Mountain has already been upgraded prior to coming online, and the edge router that is being used for QTS has already been upgraded prior to being shipped back to QTS. As well as the upgrades or the replacements for the REs in LINX Nova, we have also enabled automation under our NCA platform for Nova. So all changes, provisioning and support requests will all done be via automation. No longer any manual changes will be performed. For root servers, we now have deployed support for large communities, so members can now enforce policy control using large communities. We're still supporting standard and extended communities, and further information for this can be found on the LINX portal. Thank you for your time, and if you've got any questions for myself or Anne.